this one starting? Yeah, stop talking.
Hey.
No, I ain't know if I got the Instagram.
The Instagram gotta go this way.
Hey, live. This is Match 101 with the Gilliards. Yeah, baby. We trying to set up everything, y'all. We a little on the delay side a little bit. Trying to get everything. Well, we ain't delayed, but still trying to set up everything. That's it. Y'all come on and tune in. You with Match 101 with the Gilliards. And our topic today is
the disenchantment stage of the marriage.
My Lord. So this is something that I think that every marriage go through. Even when you're dating, sometimes you go through that disenchantment stages. We're gonna talk about we always put ourselves in it when we do talk about the topics that we do talk about. We kind of put ourselves first to be transparent, so we won't just be feeling like, oh, we just talking, but it be actual things that we have been through. So let's talk about some of the times that we've been in disenchantments. So let me say this right here before she starts. You got 3 stages that you go through in marriage. You have the honeymoon stage where you're all lovey-dovey and stuff like that. Then you have that disenchantment stage. And then you get to that maturing stage. And that maturing stage is like you are mature in your marriage. So, but we're going to talk about
stuck.
Yeah. No, I can't just say stuff. You ain't going to
there's no need.
Yeah, after you mature, you really you how do I say, just stuck. So, but we're going to be discussing about the disenchantment stages on tonight. I'm gonna let her start tonight.
You need to start.
Okay. Go ahead.
The disenchantment stage. Ooh, that's the rough patch of your marriage. It could be anything really. It could be a lot of stuff that could cause the disenchantment part. I know when I went through my disenchantment stage in our marriage, it was like, I don't like you. I can't stand you. You need to just get away from me or whatever. So that was that part. Do that for him. So that was that part as far as the disenchantment stage. And it was brought on by some other things, like before we got married, we kind of broke up for a little while while we was dating and everything. And it was like I was still dealing with something. And so it was really hard for me to break away. Just like my sister preached on this when she did her initial song. Soul ties. That thing is real. And I dealt with someone before we got married. Like months, way when we had a little breakup. Yeah. And I dealt with someone, and it was the spirit of that person was still on me. And it was really, really, really hard to get it off me. And I dealt with it, even though I was like, I'm done with this person. I got married. I still was dealing with that person's spirit after we got married. And it kind of, at that moment, I was just like, I don't know if I could do this. And I started picking up characteristics of that person. And that was another thing, because I was tired of struggling with it, basically. And it put us in that stage. Everything that he did kind of irritated me at that moment in the disenchantment stage of it. And so, hey, Rika. So in that part of the disenchantment, that was that. And then he stopped communicating. Like the things, and another thing that could cause a disenchantment stage, the things y'all do to get us, continue to do that, please. That's the thing. My thing is, why do y'all quit? Why do y'all stop doing the things that y'all do to get us? Like if you know we like to talk, well, let's talk. If you know you took us on dates, you wined and dined us, why not continue to do that? Don't stop because you done got what you wanted. Like we done got that commitment. Don't stop doing that. Continue to date us. Don't just be like, oh, now I got it. I done did my work to get what I want and it's over with. No. Don't do that. And that was the thing. A part of my disenchantment with that was he quit communicating. Like, dude, that's what attracted me to you. So how you just gonna stop talking to me? I want to talk. I want to have a conversation. So that was the a piece of the disenchantment. It's some other parts. This could go on forever.
Yeah, to kind of go what she was saying. We had a period of time when we were dating. We kind of part ways for a little while. We already had our child, but you know what I mean, we wasn't considered to be together. So she went and talked to some other people, and I did the same thing. So when we kind of worked things out back together, that's when a lot of the disenchantment, because it almost like we started off our marriage almost like in the disenchantment a little bit. I mean, we had our honeymoon stages, but I guess because we've been together so long, some of the disenchantment was kind of mixed in it.
Yeah.
So when we got married, I guess with the men, we don't really, I ain't gonna say something, well, I guess with me, I didn't have really no soul ties, anything with the females that I was dealing with when we had stopped dating. So it was kind of different, but I guess I was so in consume of working and stuff like that. That's why my conversation and stuff kind of lacks with us communicating like how we did before. So that part been just kind of reeling with her. But now I'm going to talk about how I felt when I've been in my disenchantment stage. Because a lot of times we feel, the females just feel like the men don't have certain feelings or we don't feel certain ways when stuff happens. But I've been like, sometimes when you get in this disenchantment stage, I'm like, everything she did just irritated me. Like, I was like, man, get out my face. I ain't been saying all these stuff to hurt her feelings.
I never knew it.
You know, but you just, like, the smallest things irritated you. And some of I didn't even know why I felt like that at the time, but you just feel like we couldn't get along. Seemed like we've been arguing for little dumb stuff we were arguing about, and that was just like drawing us away from each other. So and for a male, I guess we don't really express when we feeling a certain type of way about your spouse or whatever when you're in that disenchantment stage. And one of the things I want to bring up that we got to be careful of as married folks, it seems like every time you're like in a disenchantment stage, somebody coming to try to come and talk to you and stuff like that. So I was working at Walmart at the time, and you would have females like they know you married and don't even care. So what helped me is, because of me being a man of God, and I totally gave myself to God, that I didn't went that route, but the old me would have went that route. But I just thank God for where I was at. But we got to be careful when you in your disenchantment stages that you still continue to be focused on your marriage and trying to work things out. Because if not, somebody's gonna try to come and interfere in that, and that's how the devil works. He's gonna come when you're vulnerable. So you gotta definitely be careful when you in your disenchantment stages that you really stay focused. And one thing that's definitely gonna help when you're in your disenchantment stage, you have to communicate. And we learn these things. A lot of things that we learn is from the mistakes that we made and we learn from as years pass. So when we was in our disenchantment stage, we never really communicated about it till later on, till we see where we got to communicate about these things. But that's the only way that it's going to be able to work out, if you got to talk about it. So when you're feeling that way and stuff like that. Don't think that is strange, because I believe that happens in all marriages. But don't stay in that stage. That's the main thing. Work it out. And one of the ways that you can work it out, if you have kids, just, you know what I mean, take that time to say, okay, Saturday, we sending the kids to grandma's or auntie or whoever, and y'all just, even if you don't have the money to go out, just, you know what I mean, set up where you can have dinner at home when it's just y'all two. And a lot of times things will come out that you need to talk about, and you'll be able to deal with it. So that will help during the disenchantment stages. Yeah.
I'm trying to figure out what else, like, in our disenchantment stage. I really had to pray. Because I've talked to, like, several people that I know, and they've confided, like, I don't love my husband. And I went through that stage. It was like, I still loved him, but I wasn't in love with him at that time when we was in our disenchantment stage. And that is very possible, to love that person, but not be in love with them. And I was just like, and I sat there and I would, because I'm a thinker, and I would sit there and I just would talk with myself, because at the time I wasn't working. So a lot of things I just would have time to sit there and just think about and be like, okay, is it worth what I'm going through now? Is it worth me losing my marriage? Is it worth just saying, you know what, just not work it out or anything else like that? Was it really worth it? And it wasn't. And I really wanted my marriage. So I was like, you know what, Lord, you have to really help me. You have to help me to get back in love with him. You have to help me to fall back in love. And just the little things that may seem big, just allow me not to see those things. Just allow me to see something different, because I really wanted my marriage. So I really had to pray. I prayed and I prayed until that thing was broken, until I actually got to the point where I was like, you know what? I'm back in love. And then I talked with him about it, because at first I didn't feel like I could have talked with him at all about it. And I was like, you know what? There's no need, because I keep telling him, well, let's talk. Or no, I was trying to talk, and he'll fall asleep. So of course I was just like, you know what? You just blowing me off. And you know, I don't have no adult conversation with nobody. I had the kids, so I was home, and I was like, okay, I'm just dealing with the kids. You come home, I want to talk. And we could be sitting on the couch, and he'd come home, and the next thing you know, he's like this. And I'm just like, okay. So it was like I felt really rejected. But I had to really pray on it and ask the Lord to really help me to get to that part where I fell back in love with him. And he did. And he did it.
Because, like I say, I think it can, sometimes it may last longer in certain marriages. It just depends on the person. But I think everybody goes through that disenchantment stage. I know for me, it just seemed like I didn't even want to be around her when I was in that disenchantment stage.
You don't.
You kind of like try to do other stuff to try to avoid each other. You know what I mean? It's kind of hard to describe really how it comes about, because it's been a while for us. So me trying to remember, I can barely remember certain stuff, but sometimes you can almost get to the stage where it's like how my wife was saying, like, do I want this or do I don't? I'm saying it all.
If you don't, like, do I want it or not? I don't.
Yeah, and so one thing you gotta really reflect on the good times when you're going through those stages, because when you're married, sometimes your wife or your husband make you feel like, man, this is it. I can't deal with this no more. But one thing that I always tell people before you get married, always seek some type of counseling before you get married to know that that this is exactly what you want. Because sometimes we can be fascinated how the person look and stuff like that, and not really looking at the personality of this person. Because now you they make this vow, then you saying to death do us part. So that means that you're making a commitment to be with this person for the rest of your life, and that's through all situations. So when you get in those disenchantment stages, you gotta be willing to, you know what I mean, to go through them. But you like my wife said, you gotta pray and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And that definitely helps. Prayer definitely helps.
It does.
And I know everybody that's probably tuning in right now are not saved or whatever, but it's gonna take some praying. I mean, it's gonna take some praying for you to get through that stages. And sometimes, sadly to say, some people get in that stage and never come out of the stages and end up getting divorced. But you definitely have to deal with it, do things to help it, especially when you feeling like we falling out of love, or the spark, all the things that attracted you is unattractive to you now, and you know what I mean, and even sometimes it mess up with your sexual life, and where you're not, you know what I mean, dealing with each other in that way and stuff like that. So it kind of affects everything. So you got to be very careful with that you work on it. And I since I brought that up, this just I'm gonna say my opinion, but I just feel like it's true. When you in your disenchantment stages, you know how some people say, "Oh, you in the doghouse and the husband on the couch, and you in the bed." I never go to bed angry with one another. Always try to work it out where y'all in the same bedroom. I just don't believe in you in this room and I'm sleeping in that room or whatever. We had a disagreement. So at least we should be able to work it out for that night so we can sleep in the same bed. I just feel like when you don't do that, that opens up so many doors for other things to come in. So don't allow yourself to do that. And Rika, you are so right. That first 5 years seem like it's always the hardest because you're trying to adjust to this person, and you already had your way of living and how you feel about things, and now you got two things coming together to be one. So it's always going to be a challenge. Yeah.
And and I have my go-to people. It's okay. People say keep people out your marriage. I agree with that to a certain extent. You got to know who to go to. You got to know those people that are going to root for your marriage and not going to tell you the wrong things. Those are the people that you go to. Like, I really credit our marriage to, we have a marriage enhancement at our church. Yeah. Like, we got so much different levels of marriage in that group to where I've learned from them a whole lot. Like, I really, really accredit our marriage to them, because if not, we probably wouldn't have been here. We learned how to go through from the older people, from the older generation, and they prayed us through a lot. They prayed us, even when it was times when I felt like he wasn't listening to me, I brung it up in there, and we got it together. And even I had people like I would talk to outside of that. Just like I had a go-to person all the time that I would talk to. I didn't go to my mother, I didn't go to my sisters. That's only because they wasn't married at the time, so I couldn't go to them and talk to them. But I did have people outside of my family. And then another thing, when you in that disenchantment stage, please keep your family out of it. I don't care if you're married, if they married or not, keep your family out of it most of the time. Yeah. Because if they not for your spouse and you already know they not for your spouse, all they going to tell you is negative things. That's basically it. They not going to be rooting for you, especially if they already got something against your spouse. That's one thing that I had to learn. Like, my mother rarely knew anything that was going on in my marriage unless she was staying with us. And I probably will tell her certain things. She would see it, I wouldn't tell her. She would see certain things. A lot of things that we went through, my mama just finding out now after we went through it. And my mama finally know that we went through it. Sorry, I was reading a comment. My mama just finding out about it. because I kept her out of it. She was a single lady, and I didn't want her to look at him differently or whatever. Even though I felt some type of way, and his mom used to stay with us, and she would ask certain questions, but we never drug our parents into it. My sisters, they didn't know nothing before, after, once when they were single. I never told them anything. They just found out a lot of things that probably went through in our marriage because they're married, and they can kind of understand. When people are on the same level, they wouldn't understand. All they know is where they're at that moment. Oh, I wouldn't take that. I would do this or whatever else like that. And it could feed into the wrong things because basically it's feeding into your feelings. And you can't do your marriage based on your feelings, basically. So that was, I had my go-to people.
Yeah. And one thing I could say is advice. If you are married, I don't think you should get advice from your single friends about marriage. If they
please
now see if maybe they're a widow or they are divorced, but you know what I'm saying, they'll see where they wouldn't made their mistakes or whatever, and trying to encourage you what to do and say, oh, well, we did this in our marriage and this is why we got divorced. Now those type of things. But if you got a friend that's single and never been married, I don't think you should get advice from them about your marriage. And a lot of times people do that, and that's when more stuff come in there. But like my wife say, always have somebody that you can talk to,
trust,
and you can trust, and you know that they're rooting for your marriage. Because you hear it all the time where people allow their mother or their sisters and stuff to get in their marriage when they get in an argument with their husband or their wife, and they go run and tell them. Now, when y'all getting things back together,
they still looking at your spouse funny.
They still looking at them side eye. So you got
but y'all in the good stage. Yeah. But your family looking at them funny.
Yeah.
But that's because you done told them the thing. You done told them what the problem was, and you shouldn't do that. And that's why they gonna continue to have something like a side eye look at them.
Yeah.
And be like, okay. But then you all going to, you wonder why, why you don't like them? Well, you done told them the problems. Yeah. You done told them what they done did wrong. Yeah. And most of the time, and you, as a spouse, you not going to tell your parent what you did. You just going to tell them what your spouse did.
Yeah.
And you not going to say, oh, I did this too. You not. Yeah. So that's why they look at your spouse a little side eye. So, yeah. So have your go-to person all the time. Like that's the number one thing, because it's people that been there, done that, and they know how to get you through if you feel like you're stuck in that spot. Yeah. So that's
so if we got any questions is dealing with the disenchantment stages, feel free to ask your questions. And I always say, even if you're not married and you're watching now, it's still helpful because it will help you to see what you may have to face going into a marriage. Let's see.
Unbiased godly counseling is helpful.
That's it. Yeah. Yeah.
That is true.
Yeah. Gotta be
somebody outside.
Yeah,
outside of.
Yeah, because it's. I mean, just say for instance, if you go to your parent to be counseled, I mean, your parent can still love. You know what I mean, like your spouse, but still that's their child, so they can still be biased.
Or even outside of people that you kind of like your church, your pastor, whatever. Yeah. Sometimes that's not good because one person could have grew up in that church and the other person didn't. Yeah. And sometimes pastors have a little thing to lean towards their member. Yeah. So go out. I like that. Seek outside people or whatever, or even if it's people that you do know, make sure they're not going to be biased. Yeah, you know that they're not going to be biased, because I could tell you this: when my brother-in-law, my sister-in-law, we never was biased with them. They know when any of them come talk to us, we ain't biased on them. Yeah, we gonna tell you the truth and nothing but the truth. So help us God. Yeah, and they don't like it sometimes. So. Yeah, so I
that's one of the main things when people do come to us. And we sit down with other couples to try to help them or whatever. We're never biased. Never. And we always pray and seek God's face before we even give advice on anything, because we don't want to stay on the the wrong way. And I think that's what helps us from not being biased, because we really want to see people marriages work.
Yeah. We're for the marriages.
It's for the marriages, because you
healthy.
Because you hear so much about divorce, especially our generation and the younger generation that's under us. It seems like they could be married for a year before you know it. It's over, and then you done spend them thousands of dollars for a wedding.
I just think that people they love the wedding, they don't like the marriage.
Yeah. So,
hey, they want the party.
Yeah. So be very careful with that when you're taking those steps to be married.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I don't see no questions. So
we're gonna cut it.
Like we say. I gotta stop saying so much. Check out our YouTube page. It's Marriage 101 with the Gilliards. We got the videos that we did on Facebook Live and Instagram Live, but we got some more stuff coming soon with the that's gonna be different from the Instagram and Facebook. On our YouTube page, gonna be a little bit more stuff on it. Again, continue to tune in, like, share, tag somebody. Tell them about Marriage 101 with the Gilliards.
Yeah, and not only that, y'all continue. We want to do this giveaway for Valentine's. We haven't seen anybody kind of really like and share and subscribe, and so let us know so we can do this giveaway. We said we're gonna do like a $50 gift card and a $25 gas card. So your date, everything night will be on us for Valentine's. Just like, share, and subscribe to our pages, and also. Y'all interact more on the page. If y'all feel like y'all have something important to say, interact more on the page. Post some things on the page. Like, this is a group, not just all about us. If you got some helpful advice for somebody, then y'all help other people. Like, this is going to be a helpful thing for everyone, for everybody. Like, if you feel like you got something inspirational to say, then put it out there on the page. And also in our marriage group this week, in our marriage enhancement thing, we're doing a challenge, so it sees how well you work with your spouse. So if y'all want to take that challenge and see how well you cook with your spouse, that's the thing, because when you're in the kitchen, feelings come up now. So see how well you cook with your spouse and load it to our page if you would like to. Let's see how well you work together with one another. Not even just your spouses. If you're dating somebody that you say, hey, this is something serious, y'all go ahead and do that. And let's see how we can see how y'all interact with one another. So that's basically
it.
That's
Thank everybody for tuning in again. Like, share, and tag somebody, and please subscribe to our YouTube page if you our YouTube page. We thank y'all. Continue to share. Love y'all. Peace.
See ya.